안녕하세요. 야간 끝나고 자고 일어났습니다. 오늘 쉬는 날이에요. 밤 10시가 다 돼갑니다. 지금 치킨을 시켜놔가지고 치킨 올 때까지 운동하겠습니다. 스트레칭 위주로 할 거고요. 그다음에 이걸 뭐라 그래요? 바벨만 하겠습니다. 일단 스트레칭 좀 하게요.
Relief organizations battling COVID-19. For more stories of the people making a difference and to find out how you can impact your world, go to cnn.com/impact.
You may have got suspicious and think that somebody is watching you. You could be right. But it's not a hacker. It could well be your supervisor or your boss who've loaded software into your computer so that they can keep an eye on what you're doing. HR, where are you when we need you?
So almost across the globe, generally speaking, it's legal. One can engage in, the spying, if you will, on employees, but it's counter to most organizations' culture.
What would you say is the single biggest issue that you face?
One of the biggest issues that we're facing right now are the stress, the anxiety associated with being isolated. We're hearing this for older Americans who might, at this point, live alone, and we're also hearing it from Generation Z and millennials.
Advisor Peter Navarro. He was the first top administration official to warn of the COVID-19 threat and now helps lead the fight against it. Is the White House playing the blame game with China? Fareed Zakaria, GPS, tonight.
I'm Clarissa Ward in London, and this is CNN.
This was the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my life on a personal basis from the way I felt. I can only begin to describe to you, if you could imagine, a sense of uncontrollable chills and fever and sweats and a progressive shortness of breath. I had the sense that I was drowning at certain points. I was unable to even stand and unable to even walk to the bathroom, which was a dramatic decrement in my ordinary stamina. And there was this tremendous fear and perception that there was a substantial chance that I wouldn't be able to live long enough to be here today with you and have this privilege. So I'm grateful to be home, I'm privileged, and I'm happy to make the best of it and not taking even the smallest thing for granted at this point.
I'm John Defteres in Abu Dhabi, and this is CNN.
Forward as coronavirus deaths tick past 66,000, more states dip their toes into reopening. And those that have not face protests. Can the economy reopen now without many more getting sick? I'll speak exclusively to Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Maryland Governor Larry Hogan next. And return to normal? More than 30 million people are newly out of work and wondering what the future will look like.
I'm a growth guy. I'm an optimist. To me, that's the key.
Will there be more aid for struggling Americans? President Trump's chief economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, joins me to discuss next. Plus, Three's Company. First he left the Republican Party, now he's running for president.
I believe I have to defend the Constitution in whichever way works best.
How will his candidacy affect the race? Libertarian presidential candidate Congressman Justin Amash joins me in moments. Hello, I'm Dick Tapper in Washington, where the State of our Union is worried. More than 60,000 people in the United States have died from coronavirus at this hour. Just think about this. One coronavirus death in this country was reported every 44 seconds during the month of April, and many experts predict another major wave of coronavirus could happen in the fall or the winter. And yet, President Trump spent his, quote, working weekend at Camp David, seemingly on Twitter, tweeting not primarily about those who have lost loved ones or livelihoods, but attacking journalists, criticizing George W. Bush and the Mueller investigation, touting his own approval ratings and expressing happiness that Kim Jong-un is apparently alive and well, among other matters. Today, despite concerns from health officials that it's premature, Americans across the country are no longer under stay-at-home orders. More than half of states are relaxing their guidelines and opening more non-essential businesses as states look to ease the severe economic pain this pandemic has caused. Top experts are now predicting the worst economy of our lifetimes. In the last 6 weeks, more than 30 million Americans have filed for unemployment for the first time. To give you some perspective, that's equivalent to the entire population of Texas. Joining me now to discuss the economic challenges from the White House, President Trump's top economic advisor, Larry Kudlow. Mr. Kudlow, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to start with what the government is doing to help Americans through the crisis. Do you think there's going to be a phase 4 stimulus bill? And if so, should it include money for state and local governments?
Well, I don't want to get too far ahead of the story, Jake. There may well be additional legislation. There's kind of a pause period right now. We put up $3 trillion of direct federal budget assistance in one way or another. The Federal Reserve has actually put in as much as $4-6 trillion.
Oh, 이렇게
So
어깨
it's
쪽이
a
결리지?
huge package. Let's see how it's doing as we gradually reopen the economy. We probably will have some ideas, and I want to say this regarding the states. As you know, the president has from time to time spoken about linking that to sanctuary cities. I don't think
요거 10개만 하고
decided yet.
오늘은 그만하겠습니다.
Healthcare
전
and all
치킨을
manner of
기다리도록
medical
하겠습니다.
equipment. We have poured
나도
hundreds
일어나자마자
of billions
했더니
into the states.
오늘
Perhaps there'll be more
뻐지근하네요.
than,
확실히.
we'll wait and see. From our perspective too, Jake, look, we know the economy is still in a terrible contractionary phase, tremendous hardships everywhere. That's why we've put up several rescue packages led by President Trump and with the bipartisan support of Congress. So we are working through that. It's going to be very difficult in the months ahead, no question. Having said that, I will note that the Congressional Budget Office and a bunch of private forecasters, Wall Street Journal surveys and so forth, are looking for a very strong second half economic rebound and suggesting that 2021 next year could be one of the fastest growth rebounds in American history or recent history. So we're trying to get from one side to the other. We're trying to get through this. We're trying to work through this. I don't want to rule in or out anything right now. We are in discussions internally and with leading members of Congress.
Right, but you talk about a pause, a moment of pause that we're in right now. The Fed Chair Jerome Powell indicated this week that he believes Congress needs to pass additional measures providing direct fiscal support to Americans. I don't